Hi, it's Marnie Pearson and Sue Painter back with the online business reality show, Marnie and Sue's Peep Show. We're glad to have you with us looking behind the scenes in our businesses, and we're really winging it today because I just barely got back in town and getting my bearings again, and so we haven't even discussed what we're going to talk about. So uh, I know I could tell a little bit of something I got from my trip, and I don't know, Sue, what's up for you?
Okay. Well, I'd love to hear about what you learned when you were in Utah, and then I can talk about a little bit of when you buy a lot of training and how to deal with that because half the time you don't really work with it very much, and also about software systems and how you think about them and how you pick them for your business.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so well, as far as my trip went, I had a really good trip, and I was recertifying in Simply Healed. I was a little bit overdue on that and needed to do that, so that was a good thing. I think the biggest thing that hit me is she had like a dinner for the practitioners at her home the night before, and these people come in and they all knew me, and they were like, "Oh, I read your stuff," and and I had no idea any of these people were following me or were reading my stuff. And so I was sitting there talking to one of the girls, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we read everything you do. My sisters, and all these other people." And I'm like, "Well, I don't see you liking anything." Or she's like, "Well, I don't have time to like or comment, but I read everything you
Right.
post." And it made me realize that a lot more people could be paying attention to you than you think. We
Yeah.
gauge it by that response, that like, but there's a whole bunch of people that are just busy, and that they're too busy to even like. So I don't know. It was a neat experience.
I think about that too. Actually, Marnie, I think about that for the Peep Show because we often don't have anybody on it live, even though we've invited people to come join us live. And I know a couple of people have said they've tried to hook together with us and haven't been able to do that. Not sure why, but we need to, I guess, figure that out. But the other day I was on Google Plus, and there's a lot of talk about is Google Plus really even worth it? And went over to my profile to post something, and it said, you're being followed by like 700 people, and there's like 24,000 people who have viewed your page. And I was like, you're kidding me. I mean, I don't ever hear from anybody. So I think one of the new models of business that you and I need to adopt for ourselves is that we have to quit judging our reach by the amount of shares and comments and likes we get. We have reach that we don't even know about, and I know that's tough because we want to measure it and we want to know if what we're doing is effective. But it seems like for both of us, and I bet for others people, for clients we work with too, that we're having a lot more impact and reach than we're getting feedback from. And I don't know what to do about that. I don't know about how to do the feedback when you still are working on increasing your reach. I don't know if you have any other ideas about it, but clearly the amount of responses you get isn't a good measure of it. I can put all kinds of stuff on my Facebook bid page and ask a single question that's just a yes or no answer, and I'll get 80 people see it, and not one person will type in yes or no. Not one person.
Hmm.
Nobody will respond. So, and I know you say you get responses, like when you ask about book titles. I don't know. What do you think about that? I mean, how do you gauge it if you don't use reach or comment because you're not getting, as you say, comment? You had no idea people read your stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how you measure it, but it was neat to be in a live setting where I could actually see people and get their feedback. So maybe it's a matter of getting
Mhm.
out with the people, actually talking to the people, and not leaning so much only on social media. Even if it's just picking
Yeah,
up the phone and talking to people. Um,
right.
yeah, and another piece that I picked up on is, the night before she started after that dinner, she had us all set an intention of what we wanted to do that week. And she used one of Laura
Yeah.
West's retreat activities that Laura has. She does some coaching on that and had worked with Carol. And so um, the thing that I shared that was my intention, I had to be vulnerable again. I'm like, and Carolyn goes, well, way to be
Yeah.
vulnerable, Marnie. I was like, I'm really getting sick of vulnerability. Vulnerability. I'm getting
Yeah.
tired of that, you know. And so
Yeah.
what? Right at the end of the training, she has you work with another practitioner where you do a session with them and they do a session with you, you know, to kind of, just kind of see how somebody else works and have that experience. And the girl looked at me and she goes, I know you're tired of the vulnerability, Marty, but it really helps people a lot to know that you're real, that you're a real person with real issues, you know, and you're struggling like the rest of us, and it gives us hope that that you're doing it. So I think a little bit of this Peep show is a touch of that vulnerability that people need to know you're real and you're authentic and you got problems like everybody else does, you know. So kind of
I
a neat.
agree with you. I was just thinking before you said that, well, you're being vulnerable every single time we do a Peep show. So, you get a gold star on your forehead for that. So, I mean, it is true that people do want to know that you're a live, real person. So, I'm glad you enjoyed your trip. Anything else you want to share from your Utah trip?
That's good. Let's hear about what you've got. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, people might want to know what Simply Healed is, though, because you mentioned you got recertified in Simply Healed. And some people might not know what that is, so do you want to just take a second and even let people know what that is?
Yeah, it's a form of energy therapy. So you can clear emotional or mental blocks or false beliefs, things that stand in your way. I use it a lot in conjunction with my business consulting because for years, when I worked with somebody in consulting, I got really frustrated because I'd give somebody some advice and then I'd realize, I'd sense at some level, they're not going to follow through. They've got
Right.
mental blocks, they got something, and it made me feel bad. I didn't even want to take their money because I'm like, they're not going to do what I tell them to do. And so I kind of backed away from consulting for a while because it just frustrated me. So when I learned the Simply Heal, they gave me a tool to help people get through a lot of those things that are going to come up so they could apply what I was teaching them. So that's how I use it in conjunction with my work.
Which just proves the point that, as you and I have often said on this show, and also when we're just chatting with each other on Facebook, business is so much an inner game and an outer game. And if you are not willing or able to change and do the inner work, you will not be able to complete the outer work. You will resist it. You will not implement what you know that you need to be doing, or what you have paid someone to advise you to do. And, Barney and I are pretty experienced at doing this, so we can usually tell literally within 5 or 10 minutes if somebody is really going to dig in and do the work, or if they're going to just start finding reasons and excuses to not do the work. So if you don't work your business on both of those levels, inner and outer, then it's no good. And actually, your life, whether you own a business or not, if you don't live your life, have a rich inner life as well as a rich outer life, your relationships will suffer and your life will suffer. Forget that you own a business or don't own a business. It's an interesting thing that you bring up, and it's one of the things I was going to talk about today. I was talking about the software system stuff. I have had in the last couple of weeks several people ask me questions about, well, I need an autoresponder system. I need a client management system, a CRM. And what would you advise for me? And usually I try to tell people, depending on their situation, well, kind of at the low end, there's this, and at the middle end, there's this, and at the really high end, there's this. And it kind of depends on how you want to set yourself up for future in your business. Because as you know, Marnie, once you get into one of those systems, it's both expensive and time-consuming to switch to another system, right? I can tell from what a person says to me they're going to do how invested they are in doing their business. If they say to me, oh, well, I can't spend the money, I'm just going to go to this low-end system, I know that they're a little bit fear-based and they're not doing that inner work of stepping out to their business. if somebody says to me, I'm going to go over this high-end thing, and I know I don't have the money for it right now, but by golly, I'm going to build my business, and I know I'm going to need that, I know right then and there they're a go-getter and an implementer, just from what software system they're going to pick to help them with their business. So it's interesting to me how people, how we do anything is how we do everything, right? And so it's interesting to me how people start excusing and justifying their choices even for things that are the back end of their business. There's a world of difference in saying, well, I don't have any money to spend, and my husband really wouldn't like this, so I'm going to go for this free one. Or they could say, I'm really bootstrapping this business. I'm going to go for the free one, but I'm going to make myself a goal that in 90 days I'm going to move up to the next one. There's all the difference in the world with how somebody says that, and I can tell from their response what they're going to do in their business. So it really is true. How we do anything is how we do everything. And I think about that quote a lot, but just the other day it just hit me when I heard somebody, for 15 minutes she was kind of, well, I better not. I mean, she just went on and on and on about it, and I thought she's not going to make a good business. She's too fear-based and afraid of losing. And if you're going to really hit big in business, you have to put it out there enough that it hurts. You may lose. So that's just my philosophizing about that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it.
Yeah, I like that you made the distinction of I'm going to bootstrap it here, but I'm going to move up. My personal opinion is keep your expenses low until you need to incur them. So I like somebody to say go with something that has the growth potential. They've got, maybe it's not too expensive when you start, and then you can add on the features. I like to see somebody do that with software rather than go with the free things that they're going to have to move their list. They're going to lose the people, But then I wouldn't want to see them run to Infusionsoft right out of the gate either, So just
no, I know. I agree with you. Somebody, one of the things that I got from my trip to San Diego back before you went to Utah, and now, by the way, people may notice I have a new backdrop behind me. I'm now in Florida, at our new home in Florida, and you can see, in honor of the occasion, I don't know if you can tell, but I have on a shirt with a little blue starfish on it. So one of my Florida shirts. So I've set up my office in the dining room. So right now, this is what you're seeing is kind of the back wall of the dining room, and in front of me is the ocean, or the lake, the river that leads to the ocean, I should say. So maybe one of these days I'll be able to, if the lighting is right, I can sit out there and show you guys the backdrop of the water. But at any rate, now I've lost my train of thought completely. Why did I go off on that direction? What were we talking about? What were we talking about?
We were talking about the software growth. I don't know.
Software growth. Yeah, I agree with you. It is this thing. Oh, I know what I was going to say. When I went to San Diego to do the Mike Koenig thing, Pam Hendrickson was talking about when you write down your goal, don't just write down a goal. Write down what it is going to take to get to that goal and what it will do for you when you've met that goal. And that will give that goal a lot more teeth. And I've never really thought about that before, but I've been trying that for myself, and I see that it can work. So that was just a little thing I picked up in Utah, or in San Diego. You went to Utah, I went to San Diego, and now here I am in Florida. We're actually in the same time zone this week, Marnie, which is highly unusual. We're never in the same time zone when we talk. So what else?
Yeah, you said something about, you had two things at the beginning. You said the software, and then was it training and stuff?
Oh, I know what it was. Yeah. So here I am. This Peep show is pulling back the curtains and letting you into our business. So here I am with a true confession. I buy too much stuff, and then I get so busy I don't have time to implement it. And the reason I do that is a lot of times a friend of mine will send me an email or call me up and say, Sue, I just went through such and such training, and it was really, really good, and so take a look at it. This was actually Paul Evans recommended this training product that you read. You don't have to go attend it or anything. It's just online. You just read it. And it is all about structuring emails and how to get more open emails, which you and I both talk about a lot, right? And I know Paul. I trust Paul. I've coached with Paul for many, many years. I know when he says that there's a quality product, it's a really quality product. So I go over to take a look at it, and it's only like $37, and I'm thinking $37, you know, I'll go to do that and see if it's any good all day long. It's not like it's $2,000. So I buy it, and then I realize I'm so busy, I don't even have time to download it and look at it. So I was sitting here saying, I'm taking a promise. I think the thing to do is I've started keeping a list of all the stuff I buy, and I think we've talked about this a little bit before because we mentioned Lynn Terry. She never buys anything unless she can put it on her calendar that she's going to implement it. I've got to stop doing it. I have all this reading that I want to do, and I'm truly interested in the reading, but it's like, holy cow, I've got so much other stuff that I'm trying to learn right now. I may as well quit buying these little $27 and $37 products. They're making the seller money, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with making money on the internet. You and I both make money on the internet too. But I need to be using it. Plus, I'm losing. I need a reader. I need somebody to read stuff for me and come and say, Sue, here's the 4 things you should do. That's what I need. So I don't know whether I'm going to stick that on to Mika or what. Like, I don't have time to read it all. So true confessions, I need to quit doing that. So I just thought that was a funny thing. And in true transparency, that's the back end of my business right now. I have, I think, 3 things that I've bought in the last month that were little tiny products, and they all were highly recommended to me, and I haven't opened the first one. I've just been too busy.
Huh. Yeah. I'm not a big, I don't know, I'm not a big buyer if I'm not going to use it. It has to really be something, oh, I got to know this. I got to, and, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
You have more discipline for it than I do, I guess. I'm always intrigued by the topic, and that is the curse of, you know, we are both lifelong learners. We love to learn new stuff. And I'm very interested in it. I always feel like, oh, I can surely find 15 minutes to just flip through this. But lately, I guess because of travel and stuff, I haven't had the 15 minutes. So now I have to make myself promise I'm going to put it on my calendar and get it done. I've been getting up in the wee hours of the morning just to get some reading done, when really I'd kind of rather be sleeping, or since I'm in Florida this week, I'd rather be on the beach and watch the sunrise. So anyway, that's my deal. List your training, and you know, if you think you're going to buy something, go to the list of stuff you bought and see if there's something else that is the same topic, and go through what you bought first before you buy something else on the exact same topic. Because there's lots of people who will teach you about email open rates and things like that, you know. So on the other hand, to my defense, I don't ever buy anything unless it's been highly recommended by someone. I mean, I don't just buy indiscriminately. It has to be somebody I really know and trust, you know. So anyway, my bad.
No, I mean, you're keeping people in business.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, do you have anything else you want to talk about, or is this it for today's Peep Show?
Well, you know, you've kept saying how you do one thing is how you do everything or whatever. I don't know if that, I'm sitting here thinking, is that true? I don't know. But it does fit with this subject of product purchasing, because I'm a fast implementer. So my rule is, if I see something and I can deal with it now, deal with it now.
Right.
So when I go to buy a product, I look and say, okay, do I have some time right now to devote to this? Yeah. If I don't, I won't buy it. I'll put it on my list of, okay, I want to get that at some point.
Yeah.
And I've learned not to be too, what do you call it? You know how people say, like, you can only get this now within the next 30 minutes, or the next, you know, they get those little timers on the. That's a crock of crap. They're gonna come back to that page 2 months from now, and that's gonna probably.
Go into JVoo or however it's pronounced, JZoo, and find it, or ClickBank and find it. I agree. It might be at a higher price, but I guarantee you it will still be available. Yeah. I agree. I don't like the quicker thing. I mean, I agree that you may end up paying more for it later if you choose to wait, but nevertheless, you know, the timer thing isn't a driver for me. I think it is a driver for some people, But for me, it is really more the topic, and is it something that I've been thinking about, and is it something that I feel like it's an area that I want to grow and improve in my business. It's really the topic and then recommendation laden. Those are the two things that drive me. You know, like if people have been reading, if people who are on my list right now, actually, they know that I have been recommending to them Amy Porterfield's training on Facebook, because she is, her cart is open now for the next rendition of her Facebook Marketing Profit Lab. And I went through that a couple of months ago and found the materials to be extremely useful and helpful. So when she opened the cart again now, I've been posting through social media and posting to my list. Here's where you can go look. She has, I think, 3 or 4, I can't remember, free videos that really do teach a lot of content that you can benefit from whether you ever buy the product or not. And so I've been saying I recommend this because I did find it useful and I did go through the Profit Lab. But typically, unless it's something I've actually seen and worked with myself, I don't say to people, I recommend that you buy this. If you're looking for Facebook marketing help, if you don't have any intentions of marketing on Facebook, then don't buy. It's not going to do you any good. It's a waste of money. So, you know, that's how I tend to look at things, I guess. But you know how it is in business. There's like always something to learn, right? And we're both curious and interested about learning new things. So, are you starting a new rendition of your program product development in a week? If you are, you should mention that, I guess, huh?
I am. I'm starting another round of it in October, starting next week, and I've broken it into 3 phases. So, you know, the first phase is creating the product. The second phase is doing your sales page and your preview webinar to promote your program. And then the last one is on marketing and filling. So I've kind of paced it out, made it a little bit more affordable for people to get started, and have those classes running this month.
That'd be cool. Well, maybe when we post the video to YouTube, you can put the link if people are interested in that, and then they'll be able to find out more information about it. Because I know people need help with product development. For me, right now, here we are. I mean, today's October 1st, so it's the beginning of the fourth quarter of the year. So, you know, it's time to be looking at, are you going to be planning, what are you planning for your business next year, and what are you going to do in the fourth quarter to end strong? Because you still have 1 quarter of the year to make income and to find new clients or whatever it is that you do in your business. So I have opened up, I think I've got maybe two spots left for people who want to work with me in the next 90 days just through the fourth quarter. And if that is something that is appealing to anybody listening to this, they can email me, sue@confidentmarketer.com, and I'll be glad to get on the phone and chat with them about that. So that would be a 90-day working with me program, which we would end at the end of December, actually probably right before Christmas. Not a long-term program at all. I'm kind of more into short-term programs this year, so we'll see. And it's been working. I think people like that. So it's good to see your smiling face. I'm glad you're back, safe and sound from Utah, even though I know you'd like to have stayed longer.
Yeah. And I just like to interject on what you were saying there, kind of add to it. The fall is a really great time to work on expanding your business, in my experience. And online business does much better in that quarter, especially like September, October, November are really good, strong months online. And I don't know how many people buy into this, but I have a good friend who does the numerology stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're coming out of a year of spiritual, everybody kind of going back to their spiritual foundations, and it slows the pace down. And you kind of see that globally, where everything kind of slowed down a bit, even with business and stuff. Next year, we're moving into a year that's all about, it's kind of like the executive energy. It's about money and prosperity, and so it'd be really smart if that number stuff's right to get your ducks in a row, get your programs done, work with Sue, work with me, get all your ducks in a row so you can take advantage of the energy that's like a global energy of the year. It's an 8 year if you want to look it up. But anyway, it's just fun. I've seen some interesting stuff with those numbers that's making me like, I think there might be something to this stuff. So anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I have a good friend who actually is a numerologist. That's how she's made her living for all these years. She lives out in Denver, and she every year when she sends me a birthday card, she does the number thing. You know, adds up the number in the year for my birthday and gives me a number and tells me what the year is going
Yeah.
to be. So I'm always curious. My birthday is in July, and I'm always curious every July when I get that card. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah, this whole thing about, I mean, now for me, the year is almost basically done. I know what I'm going to be doing for the next several months, and, and I'm already looking at, you know, what are the things that I want to change in 2015? Do I want to change things, and if so, what? So it is a great time of year, and Marnie's right. Fall is traditionally the time when there's a lot of live events and there's a lot of program launches and there's a lot of book launches because people are, you know, fall is a shopping season, and then it kind of, for internet marketers, it kind of shuts down a little bit over the holidays and then picks up again in January, but January is a much slower month than the fall of the year, so it's a good time to be out launching things right now and making offers right now. So, well, Marnie, I guess this is it for now. It's good to see you. And I guess we don't have a date for the next Peep show, so I guess we'll have to set that and then let people know when we send out the replay link. Please remember that you can send us questions. You can join us live, and you can also send us questions at info@confidentmarketer.com, and we'll be glad to answer your questions on this show. And if you don't want us to use your name, we don't have to use your name. If you want it to be anonymous, we can make it anonymous for you as well. So, good to see you, Marnie.
All right, you too.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.